And I said, well, you'll have to talk to Daryl.
Terry, would you mind pushing record for us? Or Devin?
Well,
whatever you
have to be on first.
She's working.
Power is a good thing.
Okay, it's on.
Good? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. It's 3:01 p.m. We're convened as the Provo City School District Board of Education. We're meeting at 280 West, 940 North in Provo, Utah. We're going to begin today with a roll call. I'm Rebecca Nielsen, Board President.
Jennifer Partridge, Vice President.
Meg Van Wagenen, Board Member.
Melanie Hall, Board Member, sorry.
Max Dwayner, Student Member.
Will Widener, Student Member.
Gina Hills, Board Member.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
Devin Daly, Business Administrator.
Wendy Dow, Superintendent.
All right, thank you so much. And is there a motion to begin our study session today? Oh, sorry, I should say we're expecting Lisa Boyce today in about 15 or 20 minutes, so we excuse her until she can make it until then. So, is there a motion to convene our study session today?
I move that we convene our study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you, Melanie? I apologize. I wasn't in the case. Second by Board Member Hall. We're now in our study session. We're going to begin today with a board handbook training given by Board Member McCabe.
Well, it's actually the same stuff Lisa and Gina have already done.
Wait, why do we keep repeating?
I don't know.
Are we not going according to the schedule? We should.
I went according to the schedule.
It is according to the schedule, but it's also.
I covered a lot of this the first time I did it, like a year ago, and then Lisa covered it again, and then I covered half of it again. So she's covering the other half.
Okay.
We're going to know this part really well.
So
okay, that's great.
Technically, my part is 2 paragraphs. It's on the handbook page 7, but the PDF page 8. I'm not going to repeat what everybody's saying, but I will say whenever we do edit it, the paragraph that says all other district staff, the last sentence is grammatically weird. So if someone wants to edit that one, that would be a good idea.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments about board member relationships with superintendent, business administrator, or other district staff? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Item number 5 on our agenda, we're going to have a construction update. And I'm assuming that'll be Chad.
It will be Chad.
Hi, Chad. Welcome back. Chad, we have you on the schedule today until 3:15, so.
And we will make it quick.
Thank you so much. That gives you technically 17 minutes-ish.
I gave you 2 extra minutes.
Yeah. 12 minutes. I apologize. Bad math. 12 minutes, 11, 12 minutes. Sorry.
12 minutes.
I'm not a math teacher. So.
11 minutes now.
Okay, 10.
So I'll go pretty quick, but please stop me with any questions. So, usual, we'll start with Tinview. Next one. So, demolition is done. They're starting. Whoop.
Oh, sorry.
Demolition is done. Starting to clear the rest of the parking lot area where the new parking lot is planned. They're going around, kind of moving in this direction for the piers and the footings and foundations. Next one. So we talked a couple weeks ago about the demolition being about a week late, but footings and foundations, they're starting to form for that now, so it's on schedule. It will be going through the end of May doing that work. So next, they're going right behind. This is the piers being installed, so they're just following straight behind them. This is the south gym over here. Next, this is that road over by the pavilion. So this is where it used to be, and this is where it's going to be now. Asphalt is going to go next week or this week possibly, and then all that will be landscaped. Next, pavilion is done. Now just the landscaping around it. Any questions on Tinview? Some of the things we are doing to accommodate the future phase, we've adjusted the compaction of the soil. The wood was planned to be under a parking lot, but now it's going to be under a building. We are working to reroute some utility lines that would be under the new addition. And we've adjusted footings and foundations to be ready for a new building. So, next one. So, roofing has gone a little slower. That's probably my biggest concern on that, is that we're still exposed. We had a lot of rain this week. Drywall did not get damaged. They were up there with shop vacs, vacuuming up the water as it was raining. But no water damage inside, so it's still proceeding. But we do need a roof, which is supposed to be done by the end of May. Masonry, they only have 2 more rows to go over here around the kitchen, then that'll be done. Next. Just an overall site. Next. Windows are starting to go in. So it's starting to get in close from the side. Next. And then the veneer work will start next week as well. The brick. This is a kindergarten area. The structure is on, the roof is going on. Next one. Second floor hallway. Drywall is all hung. Starting to mud it, so it's progressing well. Next one. First floor, drywall is done, starting to get the wall tile in, so it's really starting to take shape. Next. And just threw in some renderings to show you what it will look like when it's done. There's a few more of these if you want to go through them. So yeah, these were the brick samples I brought, the lighter and the darker red, and then the tan highlight. And the next one. And one more. So, any questions on Wasatch?
That looks fabulous
It
compared
looks
to what it looks
much
like right
better,
now.
right?
It does.
It will look good.
The trees are gonna start off smaller than that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So this will be it in
Catch
5
the
years.
Yeah.
Catch the vision. This is a silly question potentially. Do you know the process in ordering the bike racks? Because the wave bike racks are actually really inefficient in locking up bikes. So I don't know if there's a way we can make sure we do better bike racks, or if that's, I know that's where all of our schools have those. Well, not all of them. Newer schools have those. You don't even need to answer this right now.
Yeah.
That's just something I noticed on the renderings.
I do know it's in construction, so they will provide a submittal, and we get a chance to review and say, is this one? They'll
Okay.
say, is this one good?
Okay.
We can say yes or no.
Because I know Centennial has scooter bike racks,
Sure.
right? And little kids tend to ride scooters.
Mm.
Not the motorized.
They're not.
Conveyances.
Or if they walk.
They're not.
The
micro-mobility vehicle.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Shoreline. One more. Get rid of that shoreline there. A lot of site progress going on. You can't see this lot, but half of that is paved. This is all paved now. This was the field where the fields are, is where they've been storing all their dirt that they're using for fill and leveling of the site. That is getting chipped away and moved away. As they're finishing that, then they'll start the fields there. They got the concrete here in this common area done. And yeah, all this dirt that they're bringing in is all coming from there. So get that out of the way, then the fields will go in.
Before I spoke to Principal Anderson yesterday, and he said not all the trails have been, but the trail around the field looks like it's done.
Mhm.
And I don't remember any other trails
I
that
don't
were supposed to be
remember other
built.
trails.
I thought it was just the one around the field that was supposed to be done.
I can look, but I only remember the one around the field as well. Okay. Classrooms are pretty much done. Missing the countertops. The flooring has been done since the last time. Next. The commons area is now being painted, so pretty much paint is, I'd say, 95% completed throughout the whole building. This is kind of the last area to be painted. This plastic is just, it's the blue underneath, but they're just, as they're painting the black, they covered it. Next one. This is just looking the other way at it, from the top of the learning stairs. So this is the administration front desk, media center up here. And next. fixed.
Is that gonna be glass up there? Like, what's gonna prevent the students from jumping off that? They're middle school students.
Go back one. I'm pretty sure it's just a railing.
Okay.
Okay.
Ride parachutes.
Pad floor
It's
down
like
at the bottom.
physics class, that's where they get to.
It'll be fun. They're immature.
Okay, next. Auditorium, yeah, the stage has now been painted, acoustic panels are starting to go on the walls, so it's that seating, there you go, next one.
And that is the last week. That's the last one.
That is it, from last week there really wasn't much, or from 2 weeks ago, that's mainly been paint, a lot of the site work, it's still on schedule, progressing well. Appliances are being ordered right now, so we'll have about a month of time between when construction is complete to get furniture, to get appliances, get everything set up, so we're in good shape on it.
I'm just gonna go back to the renderings so that Lisa can see the Wasatch
thank you.
rendering.
And then we'll have this so that she'll
Yep.
put it on our website, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I will send it to her in just a little bit.
That's helpful, thank you.
Once those trees on the bottom grow up,
Those
it'll be
trees.
really nice.
It really doesn't look like it. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody needs to go look at that view when you stand there.
Yeah. Every time I go through that front stairwell just has that huge window. It's amazing. 2 minutes to spare?
2 minutes to spare.
job.
Any questions for
Nice
Chad
job.
on anything?
Impressive.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
We appreciate your help in helping to keep us on time. Thank you so much. All right, we'll go to item number 6 now. We're going to have a Camp Big Springs
I
update
brought Kyle for you.
from Kyle Bates. I did see him walk by.
Yeah, he did. Kyle and Joey and Steve, and then Chad's also here. Bernie got that. Oh, you must be a scary group. We are.
Would you like to stand at the front for purposes of
Sure, I'm
YouTube?
looking for Jason. You got to sign something for Mel? Mel wanted me to let you know, sorry. Up here, you?
Yes, welcome
Okay.
Kyle. Thank you for coming. We have you on the calendar until 3:25. So
Okay.
you've got about 12 minutes,
Excellent.
and we're happy to have you here.
Okay. So we took 11 guys up there this morning, and we're about a third of the way through putting a cost-effective Band-Aid on platforms up at Camp Big Springs so we can have camp this year. Chad told us he needs 6 of the 8 platforms, so what we decided to do while we continue to investigate the cost of a longer term solution, if we want to do either aluminum or Trex decking or steel or iron or some combination thereof that will hold up to the elements a little better, was just to take the 2 platforms they're not going to use this summer and scavenge them for parts, whether it's hand railing, planks, support beams for underneath. We also swapped out the 2x4s for 4x4s. So some of them the guys jacked up this morning and just slid out the 2x4s and put in 4x4s because they're sturdier. We're using pressure treated lumber because we noticed there's a bunch of carpenter ants that have got into a lot of the wood, so it's not just old and warped and bowed from the snow load, but it's also rotten because it's been infested with carpenter ants and they've just eaten through some of it. So we're reusing everything we can and then putting in new lumber where it's required. And then in the process, and Steve and Joey could speak to this with more specificity, just reinforcing the bracing and the support beams and all that so we won't have this problem to this extent in the future. Some of it was just not properly built in the first place, so it didn't handle the wear and tear very well. So what are we into it now, Joey? About $3,000 a day, and we figured...
Yeah, we're about $3,000. I got to get about 50 more boards, so I'm thinking 8 to 10.
In lumber, handrails. They don't have handrails on the girls' side. Chad has talked to State Risk, and they're okay with us not putting railing up, but I'm a little nervous because the elevated edge on all those platforms is at least 30 inches off the ground, so handrails or some sort of railing is technically required. and I want to be as safe as we can with the kids to prevent even the possibility of anything happening. So we're going to again borrow a handrail from the boys' side on a platform we're not going to use and put that on the girls' side, and Joey's going to fab up 2 more. So all 6 platforms will be retrofitted, upgraded, and have handrails by the time the kids head up there in June. That's the plan.
That one's done. That's the lower one, we just finished that one.
Yeah, lower one on the girls' side.
Nice.
We should have taken some before photos. We kind of have some, but
That's kind of what we did, that's in the middle photo.
Yeah.
yeah. So these posts right
We
here
just tore them completely down and
are where
redid all the
this
structure.
platform used to sit. So that one's completely gone because it was eaten through with carpenter ants and lots of broken lumber. So this is another platform. This is over here. You can see this. I think that's the top platform, right,
That is,
Steve?
yes.
So was it the third one up on the girls' side you were tearing apart, just scavenged for parts?
We did the second and third one, actually rebuilt the third one. The fourth one up there we haven't scavenged completely yet.
But you'll use that to help rebuild the second one?
If we need to,
Yeah. And that's, you can see the combination here. Those are pressure treated 4x4s. They go underneath, so you get a little more sturdy support. And then this is the new lumber. And then kind of down this edge, you can sort of see the weathered stuff. And we've been flipping the boards, so where they're warped, you flip them over and then you screw them down. So anything we can reuse, we are.
Perfectly level.
But there's a lot of stuff that's just destroyed. Boards that start with a split in them like this, after several years, when you pull them up, they just rip in 2. And like I said, something we noticed today when we got tearing stuff apart, that we got carpenter ants in there that are eating some of the wood, so it's just rotten. So
can I just be clear? So you're thinking estimate total 10,000 to do these Band-Aid
probably
repairs?
10 for lumber, and then maybe another 5 to 10 for the railing, and just all in. That's fasteners,
okay.
lumber, handrails, everything. And like I said, we had 11 guys up there today. Well, I was up there, so 10 and a half. But we plan to take 8 to 10 guys up there every day until we're finished, so we don't have to worry about the window between now and camp and trying to do things the day before the kids show up. So yeah, and it's a little hard to see, but this leading edge here, that's you can see it kind of comes out of the hillside, and then as the platforms come out, the ground slopes away. So even when they start on the ground, like some of them do on the girls' side, by the time you get out to the edge of the platform, you've got 30, 35 inches of elevation. So we'd like to put some handrails up, just make sure if somebody steps off it or rolls off it in their sleep, that there's something there to stop them. Also, it provides a barrier to nature to a certain extent. So if you have an animal wander through camp, Chad was telling me they had a moose wander through camp a few years ago. It doesn't hurt to have a place where you can get behind something if there's a wild animal kind of wandering through camp. But at any rate, that's the plan. So,
Okay.
Other questions?
It's going well.
Any questions?
It really is. We did almost 3 of them today.
That's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing
Thank
this
you.
ahead of time. That is
Yeah.
probably relieves a lot of stress for them.
Yeah, no, it was actually kind of fun.
And the other
Yeah.
thing is, we attacked the bad side first.
Yeah, the boys' side is
You're looking
much.
at the bad side. The boys' side that's a little more steep, has a little more, that one we can get under much easier.
Yeah, and it's already got the handrails. Plus the platforms are higher, so it's easier to get underneath them and jack them up and
Yep.
replace some of the bracing and supports. So yeah, I would guess probably $15,000 is a good number, but it'll be not only safe, but upgraded in many respects when we get done. And then we bought ourselves a little time, because with the things we're doing this year, we could leave it there and go back up next spring and probably have minimal work to do to get it ready for camp again. So we don't necessarily have to go back this fall and do something, completely different, rip everything out and do Trex or, iron or steel or whatever. This buys us some time, so.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you so much for all your help.
Okay, you good? All right, appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.
Excellent.
Can I ask a clarifying question about Camp Big Spring? So we have the survey and it closes today. When do you want a presentation on that data for future Camp Big Spring?
Seems like
since it's not urgent.
Yeah, after
we can
graduation.
just- After all the urgent stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it could be.
It could be, I mean, if there's not a huge
June,
agenda for
August.
June's
Maybe
fine.
August.
Or, yeah.
I feel like there's always an emergency.
When would we need to make decisions?
We would need to know, I mean, I guess
I
it
feel
depends
like,
on
I feel
how-
like the problem is that we need to be able to get people up there, so if we're gonna start to do something long-term and we're gonna have to put it out to bid, once we wait until August to do that, and then I worry that we won't be able to get anybody up there until, and then we're making promises to parents that, I just think we need to make this decision by June so we can have some people and then finalize kind of what our intention is by August, so if they wanna start working on it, or, anyway.
Well, let's fit it in as soon as possible. I know our next board meeting is full of awards
Yes,
and
it
things, so
is,
that
so.
one might not be the right time.
Okay.
But the second, do we have 2 meetings in May or just 1?
We have 2 in
So the
May.
second May meeting might be an
Okay.
option.
He did say that he thinks he bought us time, right?
Yes,
So that
yes.
we wouldn't have to make any physical changes for next year, hopefully.
Unless
But
we
I
decide-
think we
yeah.
still need to decide, because part of that survey was the type of schedule. We would need to decide that in a timely way so that they can plan for the next year.
I think it's also looking at, just as we're trying to also budget for what's, coming, so.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. We'll move on to item number 8 now. Will be 7, not the motion to adjourn. Sorry. Item number 7. We are going to do some policy review now with Devin Daly.
So there's 2 policies. One, they're pretty simple. One is the time and effort policy. This one is required by the state to have with their reviews that they have with their grants. They want to make sure we have this. So this is basically taking the federal guidelines to make sure that we have people reviewing and certifying that they are working for the federal or some of the restricted state programs, making sure that they say this is really what I'm doing and I know I'm working for restricted funds. And then we send out a report every month to principals showing all of their employees and what programs they're paid from so they can review that regularly, and that is part of the expectation is that they'll make sure that what assignment they have on their list is actually what they're doing. And then this also helps us if we have any of their internal audit reviews at the state. So any questions about this one? This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's just we're going to provide information to the state certifying that the payroll records are correct. We're using our timekeeping system as the approval process, which is fine with the state as long as we have one. The state's gone kind of a step beyond what the federal government requires. The federal government requires just a system of internal controls to make sure that people can't be paid out of programs that they're not assigned to. But this provides just an extra level also for the principals to make sure that their budgets are well supervised.
So that was going to be my question. Do we already have the systems in place?
Yes.
So this
Yep.
isn't adding
This
any
is-
extra?
This isn't adding anything. This is just documenting what we already do.
Okay.
They in our last training that we had a few weeks ago, they told us that this was a required policy to have.
Okay. And did we use some kind of sample policy to?
I just wrote it.
Okay.
I used a little bit of the state sample, but they use a lot more examples of things of ways you can do it. The way that we do it was approved by the state several years ago, and they actually use our forms that we turn in as examples for the other districts.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, that's great.
That was
She
a
is the
more
sample.
painful process than it should have been, but.
Well, not everybody will use ours as the sample. Okay.
That's great.
All right, any other questions for Devin on that?
The other policy is our fixed asset capitalization policy. Basically what this does is it matches our policy with the federal requirement for assets. So until this year, the requirement was any single item over $5,000 was considered a capital asset. And then they realized that they weren't keeping up with inflation, and so they made it a $10,000 threshold, so anything less than $10,000 does not need to be capitalized. Included in that is the $100,000 for improvements or land or any of those items that is considered a capital asset, which matches our bid process or the requirement for bids for the states, for the state for any kind of building improvement or project. Their bid threshold is $100,000, so it matches that a little bit better. So we are at the minimum of what the state requires.
Any questions for Devin on this one?
I just have a clarification. So, in policy committee, we talked about this, because this is due soon, and because this really doesn't have, I mean, this is just internal stuff, that we're only going to do one reading. I believe it's in the business meeting, correct? But I just want, at least for other board members who may not have recognized that, and to the public, that is why we're only doing one. It's due, and it's not anything that really affects the public. So we're just doing one reading and having a vote on it today.
Both of these.
For both of these, yeah, for both
They're
of
just
these.
operating policies.
So
Yes.
if we had something, say, like purchased like a back when it was $5,000, saying like that was a fixed asset, is that no longer a fixed asset because
No,
of that?
everything that has been capitalized is still capitalized, and those are still included on our capital assets.
Cool.
So great question.
Thank you.
We don't make it retroactive. We make it for this coming fiscal year and the rest of what we buy for this year.
Cool, thank you.
Any further questions for Devin? Okay, great. Now we will take a motion to adjourn our first study session and to convene. And we're a little bit early. Are we okay to go ahead?
Should we adjourn?
I don't want to need to
I don't think we
need to-
should. I don't think we're.
I think we
because
just take a vote.
You just need to
You just
to
vote
convene.
go into executive session.
Right.
And you need to do it by 3:30 though, because
yes.
it's posted.
I'm saying, are we allowed to go ahead and start?
3:45? I don't think we can start.
Okay, so why don't we just go ahead and.
What, 3:45?
Okay. What
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
do
you
is
guys-
we'll just take a 15-minute break, and we will come back here at 4 o'clock. Excuse me, 3:45. You guys, I swear, sorry. We'll come back at 3:45 to convene our executive session. And so go ahead and take a break. In the meantime, I think our dinner arrived, so you can go ahead and get some dinner. And we'll just take a break and then start our executive at 3:45. Thanks for being on time, everybody.